Hi, I'm Shoestring Jane. Welcome back to my channel where I talk about all things thrifty, frugal and money saving. And I'm sorry about the light. The sun is actually on me here, and so I've pulled the curtain shut slightly and then turned the light on, but it still just looks dark. So I've either got to be bathed in blasting sunlight, which I should appreciate really because it's been raining constantly, or sitting in the dark. So we'll go for sitting in the dark for now. And see how we go. So anyway, I thought what I'd do is just a quick kind of 5 frugal things I have done this week sort of video, and maybe just have a general catch up really about life, the universe, health and everything. So to start with, this morning I've had a busy week, just a really busy week, and I felt kind of, when you get a bit rabbit in the headlights and you're a bit fragmented, and there were so many things going on, and there's kind of a few kind of stressful things going on in the lives of my daughters, and so I've kind of been worried and getting involved with those things as well. But I find I get kind of mentally fragmented, and I'm not really very efficient at all, and I feel like I'm busy all the time, but I don't get much done. Does anybody else get like that? So today's been a better day. I got up and sorted out a few jobs and then went and did a cover clean for somebody. I don't normally clean, it's a Saturday morning. Don't normally do any cleaning on a Saturday morning, but I've done this cover clean before, and it's for a lovely couple. They're about in their 70s, I'd say, and they live in a beautiful house in the country, and they're so nice. They bring me a cup of tea on a tray in a pot with the best biscuits, a plate of the best biscuits. That never happens. That literally never happens. I'm lucky if I get offered a cup of coffee usually. In fact, I take my own flask, but I knew I didn't have to this time. But it's a lovely house, and I don't mind doing it at all. I don't want to do it every time, but I don't mind doing it once in a while. And it's extra money as well, isn't it? So it's good from that point of view. And I've actually not felt too bad. I've had a bit of energy. So sometimes I really am very, very lacking in energy, and going to do cleaning can be a bit of a struggle, but most of the time I quite enjoy it. And I have been very good with my diet. So in previous videos I've mentioned that I have cut out alcohol, sugar, gluten. I did cut out dairy for a while, but actually I've reintroduced dairy in a bid to A, sort out a long-term problem with IBS, and B, try and help with my hypothyroidism. So I have mentioned this all before. I don't want to go on about it too much, but I have been sticking with that really well. But as I say, I did start eating dairy again because I think I'm trying not to eat too much processed food. And there was one day I just got some vegan cheese out, and it was a Morrison's version of vegan cheese, and it looked so horrible. It was so dry. It tasted horrible, and I just thought, it's not supposed to be a flipping endurance test, this. I should be enjoying the food that I am eating, and I just knew I wasn't going to enjoy it, so I just thought, forget it, I'm going to have some actual cheese. And I think I'm all right on lactose. I have lactose-free milk. I'm not all right on lactose, actually, but I have lactose-free milk. I still have oat milk some of the time, but I'm having actual cheese and actual butter, and the occasional bit of yoghurt as well. Just because, as I say, I don't want to eat a highly processed diet. And I really felt like the non-dairy versions of things were highly processed, and that I wasn't ready to do without them altogether when I'm already not eating sugar and not eating gluten. And it's just enough, really. But I do think it's made me feel generally better. I haven't had another blood test yet. I don't know if it's affected my thyroid in the slightest. It may well not have, I don't know, but it's worth a try as far as I can see. So it may be that I have to give in and get my thyroid zapped with the old radioactive zapping that they do. So don't really want to do that. But, if I have to, I have to. But I'm going to try not to. I think I've still got my arthritis in my hands is still not brilliant. The doctor has sent me for an x-ray, so next week I'm going for an x-ray just to check there's nothing else going on there. So generally speaking, I feel okay really. So I've got some things done, but I've had days where I'm really productive and days when I'm just useless and in a brain fog and can't actually do anything at all. I have been trying to get into the garden, and it's been difficult because the weather's been so variable. So like today it's actually lovely now. When I left this morning it was freezing cold and looked as though it was going to rain. And in fact tomorrow they're saying we're going to have some sort of Arctic wind coming in. It's going to be very, very cold and probably horrible weather. So if I do it at all I should probably go and do it now. But I did manage to get a morning in where I sorted out a bed at the front of the house. So it was just completely overgrown. But there were a couple of, I could see there was a few primroses trying to come through. So I thought I'll save those. And then when I was in Aldi, I picked up 2 trays of primroses. So I think they were £3.50. I was trying to think how much they were, but they weren't very much at all. I thought they were a good buy really. So I picked up a couple of those and I thought I'll clear that and get the primroses in there. And I did actually manage to get that done. So that was something that I achieved today. So the first of my 5 frugal things was doing an extra cleaning shift, just in case you're struggling to keep up with the rabbiting. And the second was buying some very inexpensive primroses to cheer up the front garden, and I'll show you what I did. First bit of gardening I'm attempting is just this bit out the front. So I cleared a little bit, and I'm going to put some primroses in a minute. Yeah, it's a little bit better. It's spread out a little bit now. We found the edge as well, which is quite good. Another thing I've done this week that I've been meaning to do for ages, well I say ages, we've only been here since November and it's now mid-March, but you know what it's like when you move into a new house, you just want to get unpacked and you just put stuff wherever, you think that'll go there, that'll be fine in this cupboard or whatever. And now I've got to the point where I've just thought this is just not working, certain things, like I've got a big larder cupboard and I'd put all of our food stores in the larder cupboard, which seemed like a good idea, but actually those are long-term stores, so we don't necessarily need to access them all the time. And in the meantime, we had behind the kitchen door, under the microwave, all of the saucepans and the frying pans and baking trays were all rammed. Very difficult to see and difficult to access. So I actually swapped those round. And it was kind of spurred by the fact that we'd bought this new IKEA shelving unit. I think I showed that in my last video. And I'm just trying to work out what to put in that. I still haven't actually used that yet. But it made me start thinking about all of the other cupboards in the kitchen and to sort them out. And the other thing that we had under the kitchen counter, I'd put all of the plates and bowls, which were okay. But I think plates and bowls are so much better at eye level. So I actually moved the food that we use day to day and things like baking stuff, I moved that out of an eye level cupboard underneath and vice versa, put the plates and things back there. So I feel a lot better about that. I also sorted out a cupboard upstairs, which is a really big, generous cupboard, which was kind of semi-full of cleaning stuff. And then some of the cleaning stuff was also rammed at the bottom of the downstairs larder cupboard, mainly because there was plenty of room in the upstairs one, but it was very badly organised. So I reorganised that, put everything in one place. All of the cleaning stuff is in there now, and just feeling a lot better about it. I also used the shelving, the open shelving, better. So it had things on it that didn't look particularly attractive. It's all right if you've got lots of fancy china and you can have it on open shelving. I thought, well, I'll go old school country kitchen and put things that I keep in glass jars. I'll put that on the shelving. So I mean, you can say it's going to get sun damage, but it's not in direct sunlight or anything, so I think it'll be okay. And then I bought a few other storage jars, which I will show you, which are a bargain at the charity shop. So I'll just show you a little bit of what I did. I didn't film it all as I went along. I was totally involved in doing what I was doing. So if I'd thought about it, I would have shown you before, after, and everything else, but I didn't. So anyway, I'll show you what I did. Forgot to show you before, but I've moved all of the food out of here and put all of the saucepans and things in here instead, because it didn't quite work as a larder and I couldn't get to the saucepans. There's my Instant Pot on my slow cooker up there. The plates and the bowls are now eye level, which is so much better. They were in one of the lower cupboards and it was really awkward to try and get to them. So now I've put some foody bits that we don't necessarily get to every day, so we can get to these all the time, and that's just so much better. Finally feel like we're getting there. So here's some of the dry stuff that I've put on these open shelving because, you know, it looks okay. I don't mind that. It looks kind of country cottage. This is one of the large jars that I got from the charity shop, and I got 3 of them. So the other 2 are here. Haven't got anything to put in those yet. But yeah, the others are you know, ready. I haven't really sorted out the new unit yet because I need Justin to put another shelf on it. It needs an extra shelf. Air fryer's already living there. I think the toaster's going to go there. And then I'm going to get a little herb and spice rack because at the moment I can't see where it is. And perhaps the glasses will go down there. But altogether it's looking so much better now, and it feels a lot more organised, and just I feel like I'm more in control of my life. So I think this is number 4 on my list of 5 frugal things I've done this week. I think there might be kind of 6 and maybe even 7, but is laundry. So as you may know, I don't have a tumble dryer. I've not wanted to give in to a tumble dryer. I can really understand if you've got a large family how drying stuff around the house all winter may be completely impractical. But for just me and Justin most of the time, we can get away without one. We don't want the expense of one. We want to use less energy from a point of view of cost, but also for the environment. So for many years now, we've dried our clothing indoors, and we've managed to use dehumidifier sometimes. I'm rarely using that actually because of the cost of energy, and sometimes not. And there's slightest hint of sunshine and it looks like it's going to be a sunny day, and I'm out there and I put the washing out. So this week I knew I had a morning where it wasn't going to be rainy, so I changed all the bedding and I managed to get the bedding outside. So I was really pleased with myself. Put it there, went to my cleaning job, came back. It'd been so windy and sunny that it was dry, so I just finished it off in the airing cupboard. So that was good. But then since then it's been rain, rain, rain. And Izzy came up trumps, and I'll show you how. So I've sold a couple more things on Vinted, and this is good because I don't have a working printer, so I can go and take that, and I don't need a printer. I can just put it in the box and scan the code in, and it just knows. It's really clever. So a couple of things to go there, and I'm doing an extra cleaning job this week to add some cover. So I've got all my stuff ready to take with me. So I don't like doing too much cleaning, but just 2 or 3. This will be my third cleaning job. That's good. But look at this. I've got to show you this. Let's put the light on. It's very dark and dingy. The weather's not very good. This is the most enormous arrow you have ever seen in your life. And me and Izzy have been doing lots of washing. We've washed blankets, we've washed all of the towels, we've just done a general wash. And because Izzy's here, I'm obviously using a lot more, doing a lot more laundry when she's here, especially as she's somebody who uses a towel twice in it and then it has to go in the wash, which I'm not. But because through her job, she was sent this massive extendable error to review. And so we've been been really giving it a good go. So because she's got to review it, it's from Velida. And God, I could have loved one of these when I had a family all at home on a rainy day. This would have been brilliant. I mean, obviously you have to have space. Look at the amount. We've got it fully extended. Look at the amount of space it takes. We're lucky we've got a space here in the dining room. Not everybody would have, but it's for today. It's really good. So the weather's been horrible. It's going to be horrible all weekend, but we just really did need to get this washing done. And it's very sturdy. It's they're really kind of big, sturdy things. It can take a lot of washing because wet washing is heavy, isn't it? So it's really, really sturdy, extends, and so you can have it much smaller, so it could take up a lot less space, but it would still be sturdy. It's tall, so the legs are really long, which means if you've got something like we've got the blankets hanging at the back and this big towel, it doesn't drag on the floor. So I will put the price of this. I think it was around about £60, depending on where you buy it. Yes, it was. So around about £60. Amazon were trying to charge more. I often find that's the case with Amazon. They're not like bargains like they used to be. Somebody on Amazon was trying to charge about £68. But if you look around, you can actually get these cheaper. I don't have a tumble dryer. I don't have space in my kitchen, as you can see. I don't have space in my kitchen for a tumble dryer. Got the washing machine there, but I don't want a tumble dryer. You know, I just don't want to give in to A, another gadget, and B, something that is so energy hungry. So for this, for us, is good. So we will have the heating on every now and then as well, which will help us to dry. Obviously, having a lot of wet washing makes your environment a bit damp, I think, sometimes. So, oh no, please don't tread on that. Oh gosh, no, it's not intended for that. Silly cat, get down, come on. So you know, you probably do need to give your heating a blast to get it dried, or if you've got a dehumidifier, stick that on for a couple of hours. And we do have a dehumidifier at the moment. We're just leaving it as it is. When it's chilly later, we'll probably have the heating on for an hour. So anyway, yes, pleased with that. Here's the packaging. It's the Veleda Infinity Flex extendable. Extends to 2 metres, but one thing I would say, shop around for it. It's about £60, and although that seems quite a lot for a drying rack, it's really sturdy, and I think it's going to last a long time. My other one lasted a long time, and that was just a thin one from Argos that cost about 20 quid, I think. But this one is just so much bigger, and I'm really impressed by it. I really like it. So yeah, definitely worth having a look at this if you've got a lot of washing to dry indoors and you've got the space, obviously. So as you can see from that, I have sold a couple of things this week on Vinted. Actually, I'd sold a few more things as well. And this is just my own stuff that, you know, I've just had to kick in around, and things that just aren't worth that much, really. Aren't worth kind of trying to get more money on eBay. So Vinted has been quite good. I think now that I've started listing things regularly, you know, people can see, they start to look through your wardrobe and they can see what you've got. And I haven't had people buy a bundle of items, but they look at one thing and then end up looking at something else. So it's been quite a good way of getting rid of a few things that, you know, I can't make a lot of money on. And they don't charge you fees, of course, Vinted. So eBay will charge you, I think you end up paying about 12.5% in fees and everything else. So it's very good that Vinted don't charge you fees, so it's a good way of selling low-priced items. Having said that, eBay also has picked up a bit, and I have said before that I'd kind of on the point of giving up on eBay because it got so slow and I just hadn't sold anything very much at all for months. And I have been relisting stuff, so I've been just relisting, taking new photographs, trying to make things look better, improve the description of things that I've had on there for a while. I have listed new things. So in a recent video, you will have seen that I pulled out a lot of old antique collectible type things. And one of them was an auto harp. So I managed to sell that this week. And there was a vintage projector thingy, which I haven't sold yet. But, you know, I managed to actually get rid of some big things. So that's good. That take up a lot of space. So it has picked up, and you know, I do know eBay doesn't do well if you don't pay attention. So I should know this already. If I list new things, then I sell more, and it's to do with the eBay algorithm. And the more active your account is, the more eBay will kind of push you to the top. People will see the things that you're selling. So I should know this. I really just need to get a bit more done. I do have a pile of things that I need to list next week, so I'm going to get that done next week. And try and, you know, get a bit more income from eBay. The other thing I have done this week that I kind of thought about doing in the winter and didn't really have the budget for, and thought, well, you know, there's too many things that I'm buying for the house as it is. But I did it this week, and that is to buy some thermal linings. Now, I did consider using old curtains, but then a few people on my Facebook group said that these were really worth the £20 that they cost. Because they're so easy, you could just attach them. I haven't done it yet, as you can see. It's a job for later. But you can, they're pencil pleat curtains. You can just attach them underneath the current curtains and they make a lining. And yes, these are thermal, so they help keep the heat in. But for us in the bedroom, as you can see, you're in my bedroom now, the curtains are not very thick. They're quite sort of sheer. They were second hand and they are lined. I got them from eBay in our last house. But they're lined, but it's very thin lining. And what I find is that I end up waking up so early as the mornings get lighter. The light comes in, it wakes me up, and I don't necessarily want to get up at like 5:36 a.m. So that's really my main reason for buying them now. So I'm going to get those fitted so that the light doesn't come streaming in before we're ready to wake up. And then they will have the added bonus of helping to keep the heat in as well. So that may not apply over the next few months, although, spring is a long time coming, I have to tell you. It's just, you get one day or one morning where it actually feels lovely and it's sunny and you think, yay, spring's here and all the daffodils are out. And then suddenly it's freezing, it's raining, we've got driving rain and sleet and that kind of thing. So it's very much a tricky March for spring. We're not into it at all yet. So, I'll probably find I use it now. So I think they were worth, although they were £20, I think I'll use those for many years. And I know that other people on my Facebook group, My Secondhand Frugal Life, if you want to come over and join, have done things like just hanging 2 pairs of curtains. And that really does keep the heat in. So that's something that I would have considered if I'd had a spare pair of pale coloured curtains. But for me, I thought, I've put off buying them for such a long time, I'm just going to buy them this week. So I did. So hopefully they'll go up this afternoon and they'll start to make a difference. And Sunday morning tomorrow, maybe we'll have a lie-in. Maybe I won't wake up at stupid o'clock. I always wake up at stupid o'clock. My body clock just doesn't seem to understand that I don't need to get up. I'm not going to work. I've set my own schedule. I don't need to get up really early. It's just the way it is. I don't know if it's something about getting older. Has anyone else found that? It's just, you get older, your body just doesn't want to lie about all day. When I was a teenager, I could lie in bed till midday, happily. Never do that now. It just would not happen. I'd have to be up all night to do that. So yeah, so anyway, that is the 5 frugal things that I have done this week. I have been exploring a bit more gluten-free baking. I actually took these little cakes to my cleaning job and didn't eat them. You've seen me make these before. They're just little banana coconut muffins, and I've found that I've actually started changing the recipe a little bit, so I feel I've improved on it a bit for me. Accidentally, I left out the melted butter that you're supposed to put in it one time when I made them, and it tasted better without it. So now I'm not putting melted butter or any fat in them at all. The bananas keep it moist and it has quite a nice coconutty flavour. And the other thing is, the original recipe said use choc chips. This time I thought I'm going to use raisins. So I found that I struggled to find chocolate chips that were sugar-free. And so they had some sugar, so they end up being low sugar rather than completely zero sugar. Or I bought the 85% dark chocolate, which was quite low sugar, really very low sugar. But I found I needed that little bit of sweetness in it. So raisins, they've worked out really well. So I think this is the best batch that I've made so far. And I'm exploring other gluten-free cooking as well, because it really is very expensive to buy gluten-free. I've still yet to find a decent gluten-free bread recipe, so I'm buying gluten-free bread. But what I do is I nip round to the co-op, our little local co-op, and I tend to do it like on tomorrow, Sunday. I'll go round about 2 p.m. and very, very often I'll find gluten-free bread reduced. So I like the Warburton's, what do they call them? They're kind of little flat rolls, soft rolls. I like those. They're actually not too bad. They're nice toasted. But they're £3.45 in the co-op for 6. £3.45. In Tesco's they were £3, slightly cheaper, but still £3 for 6 rolls, small rolls as well. When I went to the co-op the other week, I got them for 45p a packet, reduced. So I got 3 lots and put 2 lots in the freezer. So that's what I'm looking for. Every time I think, oh, they might have some reductions in my local co-op, I nip in. I find other things reduced as well. Fruit and vegetables are really quite good. I find some 10p bargains as well in there. They, last chance bargains. But what I'm always really, really looking for is the gluten-free stuff. I'm surprisingly successful a lot of the time as well. So I'll be doing that tomorrow. Anyway, that is probably enough waffling for now. I am going to go sort the curtains out. Archie is out with Justin at the moment, but we'll be back soon and no doubt causing chaos. So go and get ready for that. Anyway, if you enjoyed this waffle, please do give me the thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe. I do a regular weekly video at the moment, but I am going to start trying to go back to twice a week if I possibly can. So if you subscribe, you'll know when I publish something. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.